Hi there, it's Alan Smith, head of Sky Sports Boxing, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out. I am Faisal Khan, and welcome to episode 5 of the Lights Out Boxing Podcast. And I'm delighted to be joined by the Walshmeister, Luke Anthony Walsh.
It's good to be back, and what a time for boxing this weekend. Josh Warrington against Kid Galahad, and Tyson Fury returns to the ring against Tom Schwarz in Las Vegas, of all places. Where to begin? Where do we begin?
We can forget about Love Island for one night. We can forget about anything else because this is a fantastic night of boxing. But before we start, for those of you who haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The links are in the description on the video. Luke,
yes.
Let's start off talking about the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because, we all know what's happened with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder's done what he's had to do. Luke, how important is it? Not only does Tyson Fury get a win, but he looks good doing it at the same time.
So, with Anthony Joshua getting knocked out by Andy Ruiz Jr., a win against Tommy Schwarz will send a statement to the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
Because it shows that he hasn't fought in since December, since, of course, that infamous draw and that robbery against Deontay Wilder, where he clearly won that fight. If he wins, then that's a message saying he's still the number one king. Ring Magazine just recently announced that he is the number one boxer in the world.
Yeah.
And he hasn't even got a title.
Mm-hmm.
But he never lost his. He is. You're forgetting 4 years ago, he is the same Tyson Fury who beat Vladimir Klitschko in Dusseldorf in his own backyard.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
It is very interesting. I mean, Tom Schwarz, for those of you who don't know, 24-0 with 16 knockouts, an undefeated German, he's just as good as anyone right now. And, I mean, I can't say we'll compare it, but if you look at Andrew Ruiz went into the Anthony Joshua fight with nothing to lose, and look what happened. Is this a banana skin for Tyson Fury, and does this underdog status sort of suit Tom Schwarz going into the fight?
It's fair to say if Tommy Schwarz wins, this changes the landscape of heavyweight boxing for the next decade. Mm-hmm. Because if Tommy Schwarz can beat Tyson Fury, and with Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua, we've got two fighters who are going to define the next 10 years of the heavyweight division. But I suppose we've been wrong before. We all thought Anthony Joshua would walk all over Ruiz. I don't know. I think with the way that Tyson Fury is compared to Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury is a different fighter and a different man. Anthony Joshua is a lot about fitness and about keeping himself in unique, in a certain shape, whereas Tyson Fury just rolls with the punches. Yeah. And he's more of a people's guy, and I think he has the advantage.
I'm looking at this fight and I'm just praying to God that it's not an upset. Not because I'm a massive Tyson Fury fan, is because we, British wise, we sort of lose that credibility. We sort of lose our place in the top rankings. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you've got Anthony Joshua who's lost all 4 of his belts. Yeah. Dillian Whyte, who doesn't seem to be getting a shot at the world title anytime soon. With whatever problems he's got with the WBC. Yeah. And then we've got Tyson Fury. Let's say he does lose this. That's sort of the top 3 British fighters out of the equation. And you've got Wilder, you've got Ruiz, and then you'll have Thomas Schwarz and Luis Ortiz as well, who takes on Deontay Wilder. So
that's true.
I'm hoping for British boxing that Tyson Fury, not only because I'm a massive fan, because I want to see the Brits dominate this heavyweight division.
Well, the British scene is far from dead. We've got people like Joe Joyce, we've got Dillian Whyte, we've got Derek Chisora, who's making
Dubois and Gorman.
Dubois and Gorman as well, which we'll be covering in a few weeks' time. There's still hope in the British heavyweight scene, and they're producing some emphatic performances, which can still keep them firmly in the scene. Certainly with Nathan Gorman, he produced a fantastic performance at the O2. Mm-hmm. So I certainly see him going places. Yeah, no,
100%. I mean, you mentioned, what Nathan Gorman's done. You look at Daniel Dubois as well. Yeah. But could Anthony Joshua defeat be the best thing that's probably happened? Not only to, Anthony Joshua, only time's will tell what happens with him and in the rematch of Andy Ruiz, but could that sort of make Tyson Fury a bit more focused, going into the fight thinking, right, take nothing for granted, because we all know what Tyson Fury is about. He likes to have a bit of a laugh and a giggle. We see the showboating, but do you think going into Saturday night's fight, we might see less of the showboating and more of a focused Tyson Fury.
No, it's Las Vegas. It's at the MGM Grand Arena. It's Tyson Fury is going to be king of the showboats because this is his stage. This is his. He's fought in America before, so he's used to the crowd. He's used to the atmosphere. He'll absolutely breeze this. He'll absolutely take advantage and really go for it.
Well, I want you to touch on a point that you mentioned about Dana White on the
BT
Sports.
Again, Dana White, of course, president of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, had an interview with BT Sport this week, and said, well, he suggested that they have the top, I guess, heavyweight kings should fight each other in a round robin format to find out who the best is. And when you put Joshua and Fury and Wilder at the moment, and Andy Ruiz, and how that could play out in making the matches and find out who is the best of the best.
I'm gonna have to be a bit critical here.
Go on.
I'm gonna have to criticize Dana White. Boxing and UFC are two totally different sports because boxing, the one thing. Now listen, a round robin between the top 4 heavyweights right now sounds brilliant. That's what I think will define the number 1 heavyweight. But you've got Fury
that would be the Champions League of boxing. Of heavyweight boxing.
Most definitely, but you've got Fury who's with BT Sports and Frank Warren. You've got Joshua who's with Matchroom, DAZN and Eddie Hearn. Wilder with Showtime, Shadi Finker, Ruiz whoever he's with. It doesn't work like that. Why do you think we've not seen Joshua versus Wilder? Why do you think we've not seen AJ versus Fury? It's because promoters, TV deals, all this stuff is what is stopping these big fights from happening, and that's the biggest stumbling block we've got in this heavyweight division right now. But it's a great idea. Do you think it'll happen?
Well, Dana White is coming into the boxing promotion scene very soon. I know he's working on his first card in a few months' time. So I can see it happening. I think put it in the biggest stadiums in the world. Put it at Madison Square Garden. Put it at Wembley Stadium. Put it at the Maracanã in Brazil. Put it in. Heck, I reckon give it to an American stadium audience. The
Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl, MetLife, big
Anfield.
Yeah, all right.
Let's not forget Anfield.
Give it to the big stadiums where you can get 80, 90, 100,000 people in there, and that will redefine boxing.
Touch on your point, what you've just said. I mean, I remember when we first started off with Lights Out, we interviewed Colin Hart, and he said, if you ever got Fury versus AJ, you need a stadium of 200,000, not 100,000. That's how big these fights are.
Yeah.
But listen, we can debate about it all day long. Will we see these big fights? I mean,
when Joshua got beat, I thought to myself 2 things. I thought, number one, in the defeat, has that pushed it back? Has that pushed the fight back? Possibly. Because obviously Andy Ruiz is the rematch clause, and if he does get the belts back, great. If not, then where does Anthony Joshua go from that? Possibly retirement. Number 2, and I think we touched upon it earlier, is that in defeat that almost brings Anthony Joshua closer to Tyson Fury, because having him step down will obviously mean bringing him closer. And I think I've said it all along, even as part of Lights Out, we will get it in the next 12 to 18 months.
Well,
and it will. I want to see it at Wembley.
I did say before that the AJ Ruiz was like a bad pornographic movie. Yeah. And I'm sorry if I've offended anyone out there, but it's changed everything now. But look, back to Fury versus Schwarz.
Yeah.
Very important that Tyson Fury gets a positive performance and a good result. And he's got to remember one thing, that this guy's undefeated, he hits hard, and he's going in there as the underdog. And he knows, well, if I can knock off Tyson Fury on Saturday night, why can't I go in there with the likes of Wilder, Ruiz, even fancy AJ if he can beat Ruiz in a couple of months?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think just as Andy Ruiz had nothing to lose, Tom Schwarz has nothing to lose.
Exactly.
He has a big fight against Tyson Fury at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's got nothing to lose. If 100%. He wins this is the biggest win of his career.
Exactly, 100%. And it, as you mentioned, Ring Magazine have made Tyson Fury the number 1 fighter in the world right now. Do I agree with it? Of course I fucking do. I agree with it. I've said it for a long time, and this is no disrespect to Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, all the other fighters out there. But for me, we're talking about the man who opened up the heavyweight division, the man who beat the man who beat the man. Went to Dusseldorf in 2015.
Yeah.
Absolutely toyed with Vladimir Klitschko, and then to come back after, you know, the mental health issues, the depression, you know, the illnesses,
One point that
to do what he did.
Yeah. One point
against
that
Wilder.
one point that Dana White made is that nobody gets up from Deontay Wilder's
Exactly.
punch, but Tyson Fury did.
Exactly.
So
I think it was the great Brendan Ingle once said, to beat Tyson Fury, it's very simple.
Yeah.
You have to pin him on the floor.
Yeah.
That's the only way you beat Tyson Fury. And that's just why I'm looking forward to seeing, you know what, for me right now, the biggest fight in this heavyweight division, it's not AJ Ruiz, it's not AJ versus Wilder, it's that rematch. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. That's the rematch we all want to see.
Yeah.
But it's important that the Gypsy King goes out there. Obviously, heritage from Ireland yourself.
Yes.
How proud are you to see right now you've got a fellow, you know, guy who's got Irish heritage in him, doing what he's doing, representing the Irish community, the Irish travellers, the Gypsies.
We saw, of course, with Billy Joe Saunders and Stevenage a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And again, Tyson Fury was firmly behind him. I do think he's an incredible guy, and you know he is who he is. Tyson Fury is his own thing. One thing I will quickly mention in this podcast is the rematch that Katie Taylor wants against Pearson. Now, obviously, Katie Taylor is now, and I think it's a remarkable moment in women's boxing history that she's the undisputed women's lightweight champion of the world. And while some still dispute the result, she says, right, I'll do a rematch, hands up, no problem. I think for Katie Taylor to do that and have such sportsmanship is phenomenal. An absolute brilliant performance, undefeated as a professional. She is a true hero of Irish boxing. She is the next Barry McGriffin.
Well, let's hope so. And, you know, we'd like to see the rematch. A lot of question marks over that last fight. We ran a poll on Instagram for predictions for this fight. Do you want to know the results?
Go on.
It was 100% to 0. People expected Tyson Fury to beat Tom Schwarz. I think the poll with AJ versus Ruiz was 95 to 5%.
Yeah.
So I'm not ruling anything out. Predictions, what happens in Vegas on Saturday night?
Fury has to knock him out.
What round?
Within the first 6 rounds.
So you're going for...
I would say Tyson Fury, if he doesn't do it in the first 3 rounds, he'll get it done within 4 to 6.
Interesting to see. It's going to be an
Because
interesting fight.
I remember the old Tyson Fury. He used to knock him out left, right, and centre.
Mm.
And I think we're getting back to those.
Do you know what? I think because obviously you mentioned he's not fought since December, I think he's going to want to get rounds under his belt.
But they always said that about Anthony Joshua. When his fights didn't go to 12 rounds, and he used to do
I'm his biggest fan, but I don't think he's the greatest of finishers, Tyson Fury. I think the finishers are Wilder and AJ, but why is Tyson Fury my number 1 heavyweight? Because he puts the Muhammad Ali back into boxing.
Yeah.
The movement.
Yeah.
You know, the head movement, the footwork. You know, all of that. You don't see it in the modern day heavyweight today.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is why I'm a massive fan of Tyson Fury, and because. Alright, yes, we all love a quick knockdown, and we all love a fight that lasts a couple of minutes, but with this guy you get entertainment. You know, you get the showboating, you get the sticking out the tongues. You know, if you all watched that fight with Deontay Wilder, you know, he absolutely tormented him, not just boxing skills wise. I mean, he got into his face, he made it difficult. So you're going for a stoppage, I'm going to go for a points win for Tyson Fury. But what me and you say doesn't really matter, because it's all about what happens on the night. But before that, there's only a small matter of a world title fight on BT Sports as well. Credit to Frank Warren.
Yeah.
Before you say anything, massive credit to Frank Warren.
Yeah.
How much are we paying for all of this? £20. You're getting a world title fight for free, and then you're only paying £20 for the number 1 heavyweight in the world.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It is.
Battle of Yorkshire, Saturday night in Leeds.
Josh Warrington against Kid Galahad.
Yep.
Now this is going to be an interesting fight.
100%.
Because I've been a massive fan of Josh Warrington in the last 12 to 18 months. When he won that title against
Lee Selby,
and then beating Carl Frampton, who in my opinion is the best featherweight this country has ever produced. He
Are
made
you
his
saying
statement.
that because he's Irish, or
I'm saying that because Carl Frampton has fought Leo Santa Cruz, and he's fought the best, and he's gone and done it.
It's a big statement to make, because you look at, Prince Naseem Hamed was in this division. Manny Pacquiao fought in this division as well, and then you look at fighters like, Leo Santa Cruz, Gary Russell Jr. But
Yeah.
for you to say that, you know, full respect to you. You're not just saying it because he's a fellow Irishman as well.
I'm saying it because he's been there and he's done it.
Exactly. But no one gave Warrington a chance. Forget against Frampton, against Selby as well. And you mentioned what you've seen the last 12, 18 months is what's really impressed you with Josh Warrington.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the way he has brought attention to the flyweight scene and has made a statement to not only the division but also to the big names. So, you know what, I'll take you on. Ellen Road, you know, he's gone to I can't even remember the last place he fought in.
He fought at the MEN Arena against Carl Frampton.
Fought in Manchester.
Yeah.
He'll fight anywhere, and he'll take the fight to them. And I think for the featherweight division to have Josh Warrington, I think is phenomenal. 28-0, 6 knockouts. I think he's on course for a successful career.
100%. And I like what Sean O'Hagan, his father's done with him, and I like how Frank Warren's moved him. He's taken his time. You know, he's not throwing him into the deep end straight away. But obviously, Kid Galahad is the number one mandatory challenger for this title. Josh Warrington said after Carl Frampton that he wants to unify, but of course he has to fight his number one mandatory, and that is obviously Kid Galahad. The beauty behind this is you've got, you know, a Yorkshire battle, Leeds versus Sheffield. These two clearly don't like each other.
Well, this is the thing. I'm not the biggest Kid Galahad fan. It's interesting you said about the fights. At time of recording, I was reading speculation that they might turn the Tyson Fury Tom Schwarz match into a WBA heavyweight title match. If Andy Ruiz Jr. does take a rematch, and of course the mandatory challenge and so on. So that's an interesting development. Obviously, we'll keep across it for you on Untitled Boxing
on social media as well.
But I think Josh Warrington could do it. I think Josh Warrington, Leo Santa Cruz,
Russell
O2
Jr.
Arena, end of the year.
You've got to look at it though. I mean, like, Warrington at the moment has had one defence and he's beaten Carl Frampton.
Yeah.
And unless I'm not going to take nothing away from Josh Warrington because he's an exciting fighter to watch, you know. But then again, he's got to remember that he's still beneath these fighters.
Yeah.
So for me, what would have to happen is if he does get past Kid Galahad on Saturday night, he would have to go over to, fly over to America and take these fights.
Yeah.
But, I mentioned that these two don't like each other. If you've been watching the press conferences, and, apologies again to our subscribers, we haven't been able to cover them, due to work commitments and stuff. But if you've been watching them on social media, on the BT Sport app, these two don't like each other.
No.
Josh Warrington claims that he's not ready, he's not good enough, and he shouldn't even be in the boxing ring because he failed a drug test 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Brendan Ingle, who does look after Kid Galahad, part of the famous Ingle gym in Sheffield, has claimed that this is Galahad's time. Now, I've mentioned that Galahad, this is going to be the first time he challenges for a world title. But how does he deal with going into Leeds, which is just around the corner from Sheffield?
Yeah.
How does he deal with that hostile atmosphere? Because Lee Selby had to do that, and on the night it proved to play a massive part in that fight.
Yeah.
How does he do it? How does he go in there and block out that crowd? Even though he's constantly said it's just me and you in the ring.
He doesn't. I really don't think Kid Galahad will come out of this. It will take it will be an upset victory if Kid Galahad does pull it off against.
But you
Josh
say an
Warrington.
upset though. I mean, Kid Galahad 26-0, 15 knockouts, still undefeated. Is it an upset or is it just a...
It's an upset for a Sheffield kid to come to Leeds and to beat their fighter and win the world title back. And for somebody to come back from a drugs test from 5 years ago. So I think it would be an upset. But I also thought that Josh Warrington would take a rematch against Carl Frampton, because I think they've got a rival in a feud that could have one or two more fights and could go down in history.
Great fight. I mean, of course, would we like to see it again? Yes, but are we in the makings for a massive fight on Saturday night in Leeds between these two? Because, I mentioned, bad blood,
we'll
hostile atmosphere.
We'll get a fight.
When you mentioned how impressed you've been with Josh Warrington, I've got to say, for a guy that's only got 6 knockouts, he can fucking punch.
He can.
And if you've seen Carl Frampton's interviews after that fight, he has openly admitted and said Josh Warrington can hit, he can bang.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you have to respect about Josh Warrington, especially if you watch that first round of Carl Frampton. In the Carl Frampton fight, he rocks Carl Frampton, which not many have done in Carl Frampton's career. Sean O'Hagan, he said something. I don't want no one to get offended. I mean, in the first press conference in Leeds, Sean O'Hagan said that Kid Galahad shouldn't be in boxing. He's a cheat. He should be banned. And then he goes, you know, Michael Jackson got found not guilty, but it doesn't mean you let him fucking babysit, does it? Which is, I mean, which is something you expect Sean O'Hagan to say.
Yeah.
Could this hatred be perhaps what Kid Galahad wants? Because he's openly said, listen, I'm looking forward to going into, you know, into Leeds and getting, you know,
They said that
getting all
about
this
Tyson Fury.
hostile atmosphere.
There was so much bad press when Tyson Fury was stripped of his titles when he failed a drugs test, because there's often a connotation.
Kid Galahad's never been world champion, though.
No. But
do you think people are being a bit harsh on him? People do make mistakes in
they
this
can,
sport.
yeah, they can. I think if Kid Galahad does pull this off, it'll be a testament to him, for him to fight back and for him to get back to world title level. Whether I see it happening, I really don't. But who knows? Who knows?
How important is it that Josh Warrington still got that hunger going into this fight?
It's so important. If he wants to unify some belts against Santa Cruz, Gary Russell or Oscar Valdez, he's going to need to have that hunger and send a message to them saying, I'll come over, or you come over here to the O2, or come to, you know, Ellen Road, and let's have a big fight.
No, listen, I mean, I've got to look at it, you know, from what you've just said, to win the world title at Ellen Road, you know, at his boyhood club in Leeds United, you know, to go and defend at the MEN in Manchester against a legend in Carl Frampton, and then again to be defending in Leeds, and obviously everyone's expecting him to get the job done on Saturday night.
Yeah.
There's so many doors that's potentially opens for him if he gets to win on Saturday night.
Yeah,
you know,
of
the road to unification does start now, but again, it's very important that he puts in not only a very good performance, but he also gets that win.
Yeah.
But just, you know, I don't know. I'm a bit 50-50 about this one, because I've noticed Kid Galahad, he's been very calm in the build up to all of this. You know, if you look back at the first press conference when Josh Warrington just screamed in his face,
Yeah.
and he just stayed calm. I don't know how I would have done it, but Kid Galahad has stayed calm. But again, I just want to touch back on that hostile atmosphere that he's going to have to expect.
Yeah.
Does he watch that Lee Selby fight and look at that and think, right, this is what I can't be doing? Got to block out, because let's rewind back a bit. You know, Lee Selby, when he went and fought Josh Warrington, had his car smashed. I think it was at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
You know, he was verbally attacked by Warrington fans,
Yeah.
which is what we don't want to see in boxing.
Yeah.
But it definitely played a part leading up into that fight.
Yeah, absolutely did. And I suppose people, you know, who was the other boxer who went through that? I'm trying to think back. Wasn't it? Wasn't Tony?
I remember David Hay in Liverpool when he went.
David Hay had
yeah.
it. I'm trying to think who the other fighter was. He got stabbed in Spain.
Kell Brook.
Kell Brook. It shows that even the best of fighters go through it. But I mean, even looking at the final press conference earlier today, for Kid Galahad to question the hunger of Josh Warrington, it's what they said was stupid. Just to quote saying, just because my lifestyle has changed in the last year, it does not mean I will roll over and give my title away. They know nothing about me, and it's stupid to assume the hunger, desire and will to win is not there. I think Josh Warrington's got this. I think he's...
So 50-50 for anything.
It is, though. But I'm going to hedge my bet. I'm going to push you for a prediction. How do you think it's going to go?
I think if the Warrington that fought Selby and Frampton turns up, he'll wipe the floor with Kid Galahad. Yeah. But I think if there's any sort of sign that Warrington's taking his foot off the gas, he's in trouble. I do like Josh Warrington. I like Kid Galahad as well. I like them both. And I think this is what boxing needs. And we talk about levels. Lee Selby, was he past it? Probably not. Carl Frampton, it was at a certain age at this fight. Kid Galahad is young, he's fresh, he's the underdog, and he's going for his first world title.
Yeah.
This is what makes it interesting. I mean, Josh Warrington 100% has to be on his A game, because if not, this Kid Galahad, you know, 15 knockouts and 26 wins.
Yeah.
He can hit.
He can.
And when you've got a trainer like Brendan Ingle, who's, you know, and you look at who's the fighters that have come out of the Ingle gym, you know, Nazim Hamid, Johnny Nelson.
Yeah.
You've got some legendary fighters coming out, and any fighter that goes into that gym, there's a massive, you know, a massive chance of them coming out as a world champion.
Yeah.
This is what makes it interesting.
I completely agree. Same with, of course, Finchley Gym, where Anthony Joshua used to train. I know Frankie Story, of course, a close friend of mine, trains there. And it's that expectation that, you know, in a gym that produces champions,
You have to go on and become a champion.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. What's your prediction for this one, Luke?
Warrington on points.
Do you know?
I think what you made a good point earlier. He's only had 6 knockouts. It would be some statement if he does knock him out.
Yeah.
But I reckon this goes all the way.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go as well for a Warrington points win. But again, it's one of those fights where if Galahad did win, I'm not going to call it an upset.
Yeah.
Because they're both at the top of their game right now. And they're both where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, listen, fight fans, fucking hell, what a night of boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, they've
I don't know about you, but thank God I'm not going to be reading any Love Island updates on Twitter or anything.
Well, we can talk about Tommy Fury in another episode about how he is...
100%. But not now, though, because I've got to deal with it at work. I mean, you're a guy that's on Twitter a lot.
At the end of the day, what we saw in December with the whole... It was 2 cards simultaneously with Chisora and with Warrington against Frampton.
And then, of course, you had Chisora White, Warrington, Frampton. Thank God we're not seeing that now.
It does work, though. And I think the novelty of it is fantastic for fight fans. Both fights on the same night, we're in for a good scrap.
Luke, where can the guys out there find us on social media?
On Twitter at Lights Out Boxing, and same with Instagram. You can of course subscribe and like to our YouTube channel. And we'll be producing more podcast episodes very soon.
Yeah. I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of the Lights Out Boxing podcast. I'm Faisal Khan. Here's Luke Anthony Walsh. We look forward to speaking to you guys soon. We look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Thank you for listening to episode 5 of the Lights Out Boxing podcast.